Hey guys, what's going on? Tyler here with your Movie Fix, and we have a lot to talk about today. There was this small little cultural phenomenon known as Comic-Con over in San Diego this weekend. A ton of stuff came out. Now, I already talked about two of the big stories for me personally, which was the Justice League trailer and Wonder Woman. Today we're going to be covering everything, all of the other trailers, a lot of the Marvel Studios news, everything from Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man, and all the other trailers that came out. That's what we're going to be doing. So I apologize, I would have got this video up earlier. Since I woke up, I've been fiddling around with my Blu-ray player trying to fix it. The last week or so, it's been having some weird issues making a whining noise. And we actually figured out the way to fix it was just to blow into the Blu-ray sensor. I think there was maybe some a piece of cat hair or dust or something in there. And then it fixed it. So now my Blu-ray player plays again. And I no longer have to spend $150 on another player because I have a region-free Blu-ray player, which allows me to play movies from other regions, like the UK or Asian discs. I don't have many foreign Blu-rays, but I do have a couple because I had to get them on Steelbook, and they didn't have American versions of them. So, yeah, if your Blu-ray player is giving you some issues, just kind of try to figure out how to clean the sensor, and that'll probably clear up a lot of issues and save you a lot of money, so just a heads up. So, diving into some of this news, I actually want to cover this first story, which wasn't included in Comic-Con. This is a separate piece of news that actually just came out today. A little bit of casting going on for the Flash movie with Ezra Miller, directed by Rick Famuyiwa. Now we have our Iris West. Iris is the love interest of Barry Allen. If you're familiar with the TV show, you know who that is. And we now have an official casting that is going to be played by the Dope star, Kiersey Clemons. Now, she was in Dope, directed by Rick Famuyiwa, so seeing her return under this director, not a big surprise. I think they got along pretty well on Dope. I actually really enjoyed that movie. She was a really funny character. I think she's going to have a lot of chemistry with Ezra. He's so fun to watch on screen, so I think they could have a lot going on there. Now, my personal choice for Iris West would have been Emma Watson. I think a lot of people would have killed to see her in the role. I think they had great chemistry together. But we'll see what happens with this Kiersey Clemons chick. I think she's pretty talented. I know she knows how to work with Rick Famuyiwa, and I think anybody can get along with Ezra Miller. So I'm excited to see that. And, just a little bit about Iris West. Now, they're describing her as this tough-as-nails reporter. She is basically the Lois Lane for The Flash. Now, a little difference is that Lois Lane is an investigative journalist. And from what I understand, and I have read a bunch of Flash comics from all the way from the 80s up until now. I have all of them. But that was a little bit more with Wally West. And Linda Park, who is his love interest, Wally West's love interest, is very similar to Iris in the regard that they're news reporters. So they're not journalists like Lois Lane. They're more in front of the camera, going out and talking, doing that kind of news reporting. So getting to see that, who knows what we're going to be getting. I hope we're getting the CSI Barry Allen. I hope he's a little bit older, mid-20s. There's so many differences that I'd like to see. I have some pretty big issues with the Flash TV show, and I think what we're going to be getting in the movie has a chance to really improve on any of the things that I dislike about the show, but most of those issues stem from episodic storytelling. But sometime later, I think I'm going to do a video on some of the differences that I want to see in Ezra Miller's Flash versus Grant Gustin's. So just some different expectations there. Now moving on to the Marvel Studios news, quite a few things going on here. And when they came out on Saturday, they debuted a new Marvel Studios logo. We got new logos for all the different movies. So I'll be showing those as we go along. And one of the big casting news that a lot of people have been waiting on, speculation has been going on for I think almost a year now, as far as who's going to be cast, who's going to be the director. We didn't get a director, but we have confirmation that Oscar winner Brie Larson is going to be playing Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. Now, I don't have too many strong feelings about this one way or the other. I think she's a great actor. She's a great talent. That's a great thing that they got her. There's nothing negative about any of this news. She seems to be really enthusiastic. And it's good to see someone who just came fresh off of winning an Oscar for her performance in Room. And to still want to join a superhero property, I think that says a lot about Marvel Studios and what they're able to do, what they're able to offer, and the fact that she thinks that she's pretty confident in going into a project like this. So that's pretty great. This is going to be, the closest thing to competition to something like Wonder Woman with getting out these female-led superhero movies, which I am all for. Let's get them out there. Can't wait for Wonder Woman. I'm really interested in Captain Marvel because I don't know too much about her. And getting someone like Brie Larson is only good news. So that's really great to hear. And we got this little logo here that I've had up. Just a couple of retro throwback logos that Marvel had released. So moving on to the next story, some Spider-Man Homecoming news. Now, they showed a little bit of footage that I'm not going to go into because I don't really want to talk about it because it wasn't released to the public. But they just talked about how this was going to be very much a high school story, which is really cool. And I think the logos kind of took inspiration from the Spider-Man Homecoming one with the super 80s vibe or whatever. But one thing that they did show was some concept art showing the villain. And the villain is going to be none other than Vulture. Now, I think many people don't consider Vulture to be one of the great Spider-Man villains. You know, he's not Green Goblin or Doc Ock or Mysterio or even Electro. So many villains, you know, Batman, The Flash, Spider-Man all have the best villains, the best rogues gallery. So getting to see Vulture, at the very least, it's new. It's fresh. We're not getting another Green Goblin. I can wait to see that. I'm in no hurry. We've gotten plenty of it. Seeing them do something like this. Now, they didn't say who was going to be playing Vulture, which is fine. But there is plenty of speculation that it's going to be Michael Keaton. We do know that Michael Keaton is in the movie. Now, that would be one of the most meta things to ever happen. You know, as if Birdman wasn't meta enough for Michael Keaton in his career and his relationship with Batman. If we get Michael Keaton to play Vulture, that would just be hilarious. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just, I think it's so ironic if they were to get Michael Keaton to play him. And if he plays Vulture the way he actually played Birdman in the movie, who is like kind of fucked up and like kind of like a psychopath. He was just kind of saying all these things to Michael Keaton's character. He was just a really weird, like almost sinister, like haunting him. It was his past haunting him. So if he was to play Vulture in the same way that he played Birdman, that would just be so great. But I think it's good that we are getting someone like Vulture just because of how different it is. Let's embrace some of these other characters, and there's even rumors that there were toys that were shown at the one of the booths there at Comic-Con that we might even get Shocker. Now, I don't really know how to feel about Shocker because we just got a movie with Electro. That's just going to seem a little weird to me if they go that route, but I'm excited about Vulture. I can't wait to see who's going to be playing him. Really hoping it's Michael Keaton. I think everybody is really hoping that at this point. So moving on to the next story, we're going to be going into some Guardians of the Galaxy news. James Gunn was there. He had the cast. Michael Rooker was out there, his full Yondu makeup and everything. Now, one of the big stories coming out of this, now look, we do get this fancy new logo here, very retro. The 80s thing fits Guardians of the Galaxy so well. I'm good to see that they're continuing to embrace that, but now we have some confirmation on Kurt Russell's character. He is going to be playing Star-Lord's father, Peter Quill's father. Now, the twist here is that he is Ego, the Living Planet. This is a character from the Guardians comics, and this seems like a really strange decision that they're doing here with making him Ego, the Living Planet, because it is, as it sounds, the character in the comics is this big living planet with like a face. Now, they're not going that route, at least from what we understand. It's just so weird for them to mention this. And I think James Gunn did confirm that Ego does have a penis. So they're not going with the full-blown planet look. And we even got to look at the costume that Kurt Russell is going to be wearing for this. Now, as to what they mean by calling him Ego, the Living Planet, I think there's going to be a spin on this with him being that character. Now, maybe they could take inspiration from one of the greatest Futurama episodes where Bender gets lost in space and these microscopic life forms begin forming colonies on him. So he's normal-sized Bender and everything, but he started to form colonies of these living beings, and they started to kill each other and form civilizations on him. So maybe he is a normal-sized dude with microorganisms, these smaller life forms living on him. Maybe he's the avatar of this planet. It's like physical human form in some kind of weird way. How they're going to explain it is going to be so strange. Who knows what they could do? Maybe he's just really big. Who knows exactly what they're going to be doing with Ego, the Living Planet. But this seems to be quite the departure from the canon of the books as to who Peter Quill's father is. So I'm sure that James Gunn is going to be handling it. He is shepherding the cosmic universe for Marvel. So I'm going to put some trust in him because I loved Guardians of the Galaxy. Probably my top 3 favorite Marvel movies for sure. James Gunn is a really talented guy. Guardians was a really fun movie, so I'm going to put some trust into him. So now we're going to move on to the next story with a little bit of Thor Ragnarok news. This is just one of the few things that I wanted to talk about. They showed some footage of it. There was a quick shot of like Thor and Hulk in a arena getting ready to fight gladiator style, and they even had Hulk's armor on display with the helmet, a little bit of the armor, I think the sword or something like that. So they are going a little bit of Planet Hulk this time in the movie, and I suspected that. Ever since they said that Hulk was going to be in Thor Ragnarok, there's no way in hell we were ever going to get a full-blown Planet Hulk movie. I didn't see that happening. So I think with maybe what happened at the end of Age of Ultron with the Hulk going off, I think he just went off into space. Something weird happened. He ends up going to this planet, and I think Thor is going to kind of be doing his own thing, and he hears about what's going on this planet, or he gets thrown there himself. Something goes on, maybe Beta Ray Bill. Who knows? But I think he's going to hear about the Hulk. He's going to hear this great gladiator, this great warrior, and he's going to go have to fight him. I think that's how it's going to unfold, really, without having a Planet Hulk movie, but kind of putting like a big Easter egg and a smaller portion of that storyline inside of Thor Ragnarok. So I'm okay with that. I'm really excited for that. I think that's going to be a really cool fight, and I can't wait for Thor Ragnarok. So yeah, and this logo for Thor Ragnarok, I don't like it. I don't buy it. They even did one for Black Panther and Doctor Strange. Those looked good. But this one, it's too retro. It looks like, an 80s, like a video game loading screen. It looks like an arcade game loading screen. If they're just doing this for the sake of Comic-Con and for the sake of putting out some logos, that's all great. Those are fine. But if this was like the logo that's on the Blu-ray or it plays in front of the movie, doesn't look good to me. That doesn't look very cinematic, and I think that was a bad choice if that's what they decide to do. Like I said, if this was just for presentation with Guardians and putting out the whole 80s thing, then that's cool, and it worked for Comic-Con, so there's that. And now we're going to be moving into the ginormous stream of trailer news. So many great trailers that came out this weekend, and let's go into those. Now, I have already broken down 2 of my favorite ones, Justice League and Wonder Woman, which those were phenomenal. I absolutely love the Wonder Woman trailer, cannot wait. And the Justice League stuff was good, but it was just footage put together from like 2.5 months of shooting. It wasn't a trailer. Still cool footage to see, but I want to talk about some of these other ones, starting with Suicide Squad. We have the official final trailer for Suicide Squad. I knew it as soon as I made the last video saying that was the final trailer. I knew something was up their sleeve. So this was just a small one. It was like the remix of the soundtrack kind of thing. Not too many new shots, a little more Amanda Waller, a little more Joker here and there. But this trailer, as it stands on its own, was so fucking cool. I really like the second half of the trailer that debuted the Rick Ross and Skrillex song, The Purple Lamborghini. That went so well. The editing in this trailer is so cool, like a little mini music video. They've done so great with this marketing, just making it a very attractive movie, really getting people interested. This movie looks fun. Looks like it's going to be a ton of fun, and this trailer reinforced that. Like I said, I think the music was great. I think the trailer was pretty great itself, but not digging too far deep into these trailers because nothing felt super revealing from any of these things. So we're just going to go down the list and move on to the next one with Lego Batman. Can't wait for that. I think it's really cool that Warner Brothers is not only having the more comic accurate Batman on screen with Ben Affleck and what Zack Snyder and Ben are doing with him. And, I think some people were even asking, how could Warner Brothers let them take Batman to such a dark place in Dawn of Justice? They have Dawn of Justice. That's a movie. This Ben's Batman is already marketable enough. He's going to make money, but they can take him to such a dark place because they also have Lego Batman, who's going to be more campy, more fun, marketable to the kids. And I think the market overall is bigger for Lego Batman because it's a kids movie. When parents need something to do, they're going to take their kids to the movies. You see them dominate all the time. Animated movies, Finding Dory, Zootopia, Life of Pets. So that's a very smart move on Warner Brothers to have a separate Lego franchise going on. I think it's great. This trailer was pretty fun. Taking cues from the last one, using that Black and Yellow song, so perfect. That fits it so good, and we got to see a little bit more of Robin introduced into this. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm totally cool with Michael Cera being Robin and having him in that movie, but it's like they took Robin and they made a male version of Carrie Kelly. which was a little weird with like the almost orange hair, maybe light brown. I think it was orange with the green glasses, the green lens glasses. That's Carrie Kelly's thing. So are they going to say it's Carrie Kelly? Are they ever going to say if it's Dick or if it's Tim or anybody? I don't know that they're going to do that, because I think they have Mariah Carey is also in the movie. I want to say like she was voicing Alfred or Gordon, something really weird out there. But I like what they're doing. I think the sense of humor in this was really, really funny. Getting to see Batman and Robin in the Batmobile, and he says like, "Oh, where's the seatbelts? Like, life doesn't give you seatbelts," and he just goes off. So great! I can't wait to see that Lego Batman movie coming out next year. Like I said, that's a really smart move on Warner Brothers' part to have these separate Batman franchises that's going to be equally appealing to adults and one for kids. So really cool. And another one of the Warner Brothers trailers is going to be Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Still pumped for that movie. Harry Potter is one of my favorite franchises of all time. And actually stay tuned because Fantastic Beasts is coming up over maybe the next month or two. I'm going to start doing a closer look series at the Harry Potter movies. So I'll just be doing, some fun personal stories, my own feelings on the franchise as a whole, going into detail into each movie, a little bit more than what a movie review is that I do. If you've seen my Dark Knight series that I did, that was a closer look. It's just a little more relaxed. We're going to talk, share some personal stories and feelings about these movies and their effect that they've had on us. So that's something I'm looking forward to. And as a trailer, I like this. This is still my number 2. I want to say it's my number 3 most anticipated movie of the year. Can't wait to see it. As far as the trailer goes, I thought it was really well put together. We got a little more context as to, yes, the beasts are going to be breaking out. They're going out in the city. And I like that we're seeing Newt Scamander, and we got a great sense that he looks up to these creatures. He thinks of them more highly than people. As he says, like, these creatures, we need to get them back. We need to keep them safe because they're surrounded by millions of the most dangerous creatures on Earth, humans. So, he holds these creatures and these animals in higher regard than humans, which is a very interesting thing. I think Newt Scamander is a fantastic character. I think he's very interesting. And to know that we're getting a trilogy with him, that's awesome because I love Eddie Redmayne and I love David Yates and J.K. Rowling. That's a wonderful team behind the movie. Can't wait to see it. So now moving on to Doctor Strange. That trailer really worked for me. If there wasn't already enough Inception vibe going on, all the weird buildings, the flipping, and the realities, I'm not saying it's a copycat of Inception, and I don't think that would be an insult to it anyway. But seeing Marvel dive into the mysticism, dive into the magic, it's about damn time. Because I've always kind of been drawn to those characters. I'm not super familiar with the Marvel mysticism, but characters like Swamp Thing, Constantine, Dr. Fate, I love the magical side of comics because they can do some really cool things with, with past cultures, with legends, and just the magics that in religion and stuff like that. So seeing Marvel finally get in and going into Doctor Strange is great. I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he's going to be really cool, and getting to see him with Tilda Swinton going over and talking about, well, how did you be trained to become a doctor? He's like, well, I studied and I read for years and years and practiced. It's like, well, that's what you're going to be doing. And we got a lot more shots of him as Doctor Strange. He looks phenomenal, getting to see some action shots of him, like using his shield, Mads Mikkelsen, more things like that, a better tone, a better sense of what this movie is going to be. This looks like it's going to be the most expensive Marvel Studios movie to date. The effects, the scale of this movie looks ginormous. If this isn't the most expensive movie that Marvel has made, I will be very surprised. But then again, it doesn't have Robert Downey Jr., who has a $50 million, $60 million buyout. So who knows? But I like the vibe of this trailer. I can't wait to see it. And the last little joke that they had with him handing him the sheet, like, what's this supposed to be? He's like, it's the Wi-Fi password. We're not savages, up there in the mountains. Great. I love the feel. Can't wait to dive into the mystical side of the Marvel Universe. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. And just to rattle off a couple more thoughts on just a few more trailers, we got Kong Skull Island and King Arthur. Both of those are more Warner Brothers productions. Kong Skull Island. Now, as a standalone movie, I think it looks great. I like that the producers of Godzilla are working on this. It has a different setting. I love Peter Jackson's King Kong. I like that. I like the slightly modern take on the classic version of him. You know, he's in the 30s, he goes to New York, he's on top of the Empire State Building. Great. And now we have this version, which I think is set in the 60s. So a little more updated, some modern technology with the helicopters, like the Vietnam era. So this trailer alone looks great. Brie Larson, Tom Hiddleston, Samuel L. Jackson, John Goodman, so much talent involved in this movie. And I like the vibe that they got. They were using some great music. I'm already sold on this movie. Something I'm a little iffy about is the whole King Kong versus Godzilla thing, because I loved Gareth Edwards' Godzilla, and this looks great. They both are great as standalone movies, but putting them together in a King Kong versus Godzilla, I just don't know, because this King Kong is far bigger. He is huge in this movie, way bigger than Peter Jackson's, way bigger than the classic King Kong. Like, a human is like the size of his eyeball. That's how big he is. But even with that scale, he is not anywhere near as big as Godzilla was in 2014. So how are they going to do that? I don't know how that's going to work out, because Godzilla was like bigger than skyscrapers. He was huge. He was ginormous. So are they going to continue to use that version of Godzilla? I hope. I don't want to see a reboot of Godzilla. I know they're doing the Chinese or the Japanese version, but that's more of the foreign. That's a separate entity altogether. But I just don't know that I want to see them do that King Kong versus Godzilla. I wanted to see them do more standalone Godzilla movies and bring in some of the other monsters, but I'm not saying it can't be pulled off. I'm just not sure how it's going to be done. But other than that, as a standalone, Kong Skull Island looks phenomenal, and I can't wait to see it. And the last one, Guy Ritchie's King Arthur. I was watching this trailer, and I thought this looked pretty damn awesome. And it amazed me to look in the comments section just to see how many racist comments there are. Holy fuck. Like, that's something I wasn't expecting to see, because I was watching this trailer. You have Charlie Hunnam, and this movie just visually looks great. Cinematography, super crispy, looks amazing. And I was really interested in Charlie Hunnam playing this character. I'm not super invested in the story of King Arthur, but this movie looks great. It looks like it's really delving into the fantasy vibe, ginormous elephants, wizards. It's like the people in the comments bitching about why are there black people in medieval England or whatever. We have a movie with fucking wizards and dragons and walking trees, and you're concerned that there's black people in there. Oh, God. I'd put it on the level of, like, the Finn reveal in the Star Wars Force Awakens trailer. Just, guys, it's 2016. Why are we still doing this? Why are there still all these racist comments trying to argue historical accuracy on a movie with wizards and dragons and all this stuff? It's fantasy. And let's just let those idiots, deny all the evidence of Africans living in England and living in Europe at that time anyway. But guys, this is a fantasy movie. I thought this movie looked fun. I love Guy Ritchie. He has a very stylistic vibe. This looks very stylized, and it's delving into the fantasy vibe. So I'm on board. All of these trailers that they released for Comic-Con got me really excited. All the footage was great. This was a great Comic-Con for both Marvel fans, DC fans, fantasy fans. Everyone around the board. This looked great. Really enjoyed all of these trailers. I'm curious about your thoughts. What do you make of the flash casting, Spider-Man, Brie Larson, all of these trailers? Are you excited? Is there anything you didn't like about these trailers, or something that just didn't sit right with you? And of all this news that we got from Comic-Con, it's been a lot of fun talking about all this stuff. Leave your comments down below. I'd love to discuss it. As always, be sure to subscribe for more movie news, movie reviews, breakdowns, all that great stuff. I'll see you guys on the next video.